All right. So it looks like we might be doing okay here. Um, Spot for a background. There is. Why isn't it showing it? Interesting. Chat overlay. There we go. Now we got it. All right. Apologies to everybody. It seems as if I had some technical issues. I actually was just running downstairs to get a battery for my microphone just a minute ago. Little liquid death. All right. Javier, Crystal, Uncle Guns, Colt, Adam, Nebbit, 794, Jason Hedrick, hello, hello. Good to see everybody. TJ, hello, sir. All right. Tonight's live chat is brought to you by Patriot Smoke or Patriot Gear and Smoke. Let me give you a link. Pow! There's your link. And oh yeah, we are going to talk about Shopify and Patriot Smoke tonight. If anybody clicks the link that I put in the box, it will take you to my Shopify page for Patriot Smokes, which started the whole fiasco apparently. Well, that was the second part of the fiasco. The first was the fact that I sold them, and then it just went south from there. Colt, I have yellows. I have a yellow left, I believe. I thought I had sold the yellows, and then I found one. I think it's they're numbered. There's only 10. Other than that, no, I don't know. I was going to see Yan at the NRA show, and then we bailed on it. And then I thought I was going to see him at Zach's wedding, but apparently he didn't get an invite. And it wasn't in Yan's hometown, which is also Zach's hometown and the bride's hometown. They get married like 2 hours away in other people's hometown. So I didn't realize that till like the morning. Really, we were leaving for the wedding, that I wasn't driving to Indianapolis, but to Fort Wayne, because that's how far ahead I plan things. Scott Wexler, hello. So I was going to ask him about colors and shit at that point, but I didn't. So yeah, I get this email from Shopify yesterday saying they are going to stop paying me any of the payouts for any items, classes, or whatever, as long as I have Patriot Smokes listed, because they consider them a weapon. Although they're more correctly identified as fireworks, which are still against Shopify's terms of service. And Shopify has like 15 different pages of terms of service. And this was not that it wasn't saying you can't sell them on Shopify, but you can't use Shopify as your payment processor if you do. And I was like, okay, so fireworks I missed in all your different terms. I'll take it down. And I even asked the fellow, Wayne was his name. Hey, so now there's a broken link, and I need that link to redirect to the page I shared with you guys just a second ago. And he actually sent me like a help file page, like, hey, here's where you go, and they will walk you through that redirect. So if you have the old link, instead of going to the product page to buy it, it takes you to the Patriot Smoke page that I have now. And I was like, all right, cool. We're square. I don't have any Patriot Smokes for sale. Like, they're all gone. So wasn't a big deal. But the downside was, like, I could get a different payment processor, but Shopify, like when I pay them per month, well, actually about 2 years in the beginning, like day one, I bought 24 months up front because there was a substantial discount. That included payment processing. So if I got another payment processor, I was still paying Shopify the same amount I had been, and I'd be paying a payment processor, like another $30 a month and a second transaction fee. So like Shopify charges, roughly 3% plus 30 cents or whatever the fuck their number is, right? If I use a different payment processor, like I go to say authorize.net, they charge me 3% plus 30 cents. Shopify then penalizes me for not using Shopify's payment processing another couple percent. So I'm paying a monthly fee for payment processing to two companies, and then I have to pay credit card fees, a fee and a penalty to two companies. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So I am in September 7th, I think, is when my 2 years is up that I paid for Shopify. So I would be renewing it or whatever. And I would, if I were going to stay, I would probably still do like 2 years at a pop because it cuts the price down substantially. It brings it back closer to what I was paying with Square, Square/Weebly. Payment processing and an online store cost less, and I can pay it by the month. But I'm probably not going to go to Square either. Probably going to go to Big Commerce. A lot of good people pointing me that direction. So, yeah, who was it? Somebody said that like one of the things you can't buy is like any sort of hemp CBD bullshit, which I don't care about, but you fucking do whatever you want, man. I don't care. But Square is the only place that like truly embraces stores that sell CBD products. And so I was like, oh, well, maybe they're cool with guns too. And as it turns out, Big Commerce is cooler than Square when it comes to guns. And if I make an online store and don't use the payment processor that comes, like all bundled together, I'm going to end up paying double, which means then the cost of everything's got to go up to cover that. So I'm trying to stick with a one source solution where I can make my online store and let them do the payment processing. With Big Commerce, if you use a third party payment processor, they don't penalize you. So I'm still like when I pay the monthly fee for the online shop, I'm losing the free payment processing, but at least I'm not getting a penalty for using someone else. So anyhow, that's the scoop of all that. Well, so the general gist, because there's more to the actual story. So I thought I was Square all good yesterday. Like we're cool. I took the product down. I put the page up saying, hey, we've never shipped them because hazmat is fucking stupid. So we did local pickup at Class, or if you're around Bloomsburg. Also, Mike, who lives down in the southeast section of the state, he would meet up with people if they were down there and just take some from his collection, and I would replace them. And so we'd do that. So we just said, hey, well, now we'll just sell them in person. Like, you shoot us a message. I want 5 Patriot smokes. And all right, well, you have to meet me to pick them up. You can just pay me there. And if you want to pay ahead, I would just send you an invoice through Square, because that's who I always sent my invoices with, because I still had a Square account, even though I didn't have my online store there, because their invoicing works better than Shopify's. And then you can pay it online, and when we meet, we don't actually have to do a cash transaction. Although I'd prefer a cash transaction because there's no fees to that. But so I was like, all right, well, we have to meet for pickup. We'll just meet for payment. I thought we were all good. And then Shopify today just sends a message. This is Jay from the Shopify woke team or whatever it's called. I can't remember. Trust and gayness or something. And he said he just sent a message that says, your payment processing through Shopify has been canceled. No why, no. Like there was an offending product the day before, so I unpublished that product, and now there's no product that violates their terms. They just canceled it. And numerous emails, online chat, which isn't with the safety and gayness team, that person didn't have access to see everything that that team did. So she couldn't tell me like what the details were. And that's where we stand. So right now, if you try to get on trimosdynamics.com and buy anything, there is, I think, a Venmo option, a PayPal option, an Amazon Pay option. If you want to use a credit card and not your PayPal, you can still click the PayPal link and manually enter any credit card. So PayPal will process the payment instead of Shopify. I just don't like that, especially since PayPal doesn't like what we do either. So by September, we'll have moved. All right. All right, let's see. Bring back cash on delivery. At first, I was like, Call of Duty. All right, so now we're caught up on Shopify. 365 question. Looking at the regular 365 with the Wilson grip for ankle carry in non-progressive environments, how deep does your holster put the grip? All right, Scott, I can answer your question, but I'm going to need a little more information. I don't have a signature ankle holster. In fact, I no longer own any ankle holsters. Flex and Riffs on here got my Shield ankle holster, and I sold my NSR ankle beaver some time ago. So if you're asking about for in the waistband, are you talking the Mark V or the Trempendix? So if you type in your answer, I know there's a delay, that's why I'm kind of stalling. I can answer that question. I currently am not wearing a holster. I'm wearing just gym shorts, and I have a rifle right there. I can't show you all because YouTube will, the AI and Google will nix my Liveshat. But if you're talking the Mark V holster, which is the 2 soft loop guy with the small claw, as they call it, it leaves just a finger's width between the top of my pants and the grip. The Trempendix has, depending, so for a regular 365, it would have an inch of adjustment for where you put the DCC clip. And at the highest, the top of the holster is like a little below flush of the pants. So you can put it super low or raise it up higher. And when it has its 12 degrees of cant, as it normally wants to cant like pointing grip down, like it'll rotate that on its own. It puts like where your pinky is on the grip touching the top of your belt. So it can be pretty low, or you can adjust it, take the clip out, put it in one of the lower sets of holes and raise it up to more traditional height for a appendix holster. All right, Scott, I assume that's what you meant, but figured we'd roll with it. I answered it, how I thought you wanted, but I also, just in case anyone else was curious. But ankle glove, I actually prefer the ankle light to the ankle glove. The ankle light is like a suede holster instead of a like boiled hardened leather holster. It's still leather, it's just soft side out, and the whole thing conforms a little better to your ankle than the ankle glove, which is the inside soft and the outside it's almost like Kydex. It's so rigid. And the ankle light, that outside is very soft. So I think it wraps tighter. Yes, Jason Hedrick says, sounds like they should owe you a refund. I asked that question on the chat. So, well, I paid for 2 years of service, which includes like web hosting, my online store, and payment processing. So, if you're not going to payment process for May, June, July, August, September, 4 months, like what part of how much do I get back? And that girl was like, "Oh, that's way above my pay grade, but I'm passing that on to somebody." And I was like, "Okay, I'm getting dicked here. Like they're not going to offer shit." But TJ, yes, you have the ankle light. When I got that ankle holster for a shield, the light was the only one they had. They did not have an ankle glove. I still don't know if they have an ankle glove. I've never went and looked, but at the time, they had the ankle light for a shield, and that was it. All right. So, somewhere down here, it says Shopify fiasco. Oh, so some of the terms I used when I was talking to the chat lady was, well, this inability to rectify this sounds like a Shopify fail, and your safety and gayness team not answering me is Shopify fucked up. So try to roll with that. The Shopify stupid and whatnot. All right. Speaking of holsters, the class coming up this weekend is Dynamic Carbine 2-day, just the Legacy 2-day version. Small class. It won't be full, which is fine. I found that they are nicer with like a half a dozen people than they are with 12. But that's not true for team dynamics or even day 3. Carbine is better with more people as well. But regardless, First Wave is donating a free product for every class that we do. So this weekend, I don't have it with me, but I have it around here. So actually, it's in the picture on the website of the holsters. I want to say that somewhere in here, I have a link, but I don't have a link. Why don't I have a link? I thought I had a link I could share here. So anyhow, over on the mag pouch link on the website, there's some holsters you can buy. And one of them is a rifle pouch, and we're calling that the P Magus. So the Magus is a pistol pouch, and the P Magus is for a P mag. And there is a black one that is a prototype that they sent me and said, "Is this what you like?" And I said, "Yes, that is exactly what I'm looking for." So that became the rifle mag pouch. And I have this prototype. It's actually lasered with the word prototype on it. That's in black. There will not be any more black ones being sold. So the black one is a one of a kind. And that is getting given away along with a box of Defiant munitions at this weekend's class. Crystal, it was the link for the mag pouches over on my website. I didn't copy and paste it onto my note section so that I could copy and paste it into the comment section. Yes, the ankle glove. I wore it some when I worked a job where pants were required, and I switched between that and a smart carry depending what I was doing. So it got some use, and once I went to tactical response in 2015, I pretty much never wore it again. I would wear it once in a while just like to demonstrate ankle stuff, but like I almost all the time was wearing shorts. There she is. She's got the link, which ties also into one of the questions down here on my questions was, What is the difference between the Magus and the Instructor Mag Pouch? Well, I'm glad you asked. So this is, the pouch itself is identical. There's absolutely no difference in the Kydex or the MRD, which I found out who makes that. A company called Tulster, Tulster, makes the mag retention device. So here was my Magus, and I don't know how well you can see it in the light, because if I hold it close to the camera, I go past the lights. But it has a DCC clip on it, so you could put it inside the waistband with the DCC clip out over the belt, or you could just put it outside the waistband and clip the DCC clip on the inside of the belt, like between your belt and your pants. And like the retention device can point forward or back. It doesn't really make a difference. People are like, oh, it's not left-handed friendly. I'm like, sure it is. Look, click, and it's right-handed friendly. Click. I don't get it. But so the Magus has the DCC clip. The Instructor Mag Pouch, same exact pouch. It's just on the back is this combat loop, which is like a tech lock, but it's a mini, so it's smaller. That's it. It was just same pouch with a different attachment. This comes in gray. This comes in tan or OD. Gray because it's nondescript, and if you're wearing it inside the waistband, you probably don't want it to like draw attention to yourself. And the other one only goes outside the waistband, so we put it in colors that camouflage better in case you're putting it on a war belt that might be multicam or Marpat or whatever. Tim Nudd, good to see you're here. Ooh. New Bulgarian AK mags. I like them. I'm a big fan of Bulgarian mags. TJ asks, how do I teach ankle carry? So if you're right-handed, left ankle, and when you need to draw it, drop your right knee to the ground, two hands, grab the bottom of your pant leg, yank that thing up like you're drawing, you're lifting your shirt out for, like appendix carry or whatever, like way up out of the way, and then right hand down onto the gun. That's how I teach it. So I had a question about a comment I put on Facebook as well, talking about this weekend's class here. Tim mentioned it. Last dynamic carbine of 2023. I ran one travel, one at home, and that's it. As you guys can look at the schedule and see, I'm averaging like a class a month. Like, that's it. And then I also said in the comment that I'm not putting it on the schedule in Pennsylvania next year. And I'm not. There'll be no dynamic carbines in Pennsylvania next year. I don't even know if there's going to be any travel ones. I haven't really, we're only doing cursory talks about time frames for different places. We haven't got to specific times and specific dates and then classes. But here in PA, I intend to do more days on the range than this year, but almost all of them will be one day. So we're just going to take subjects and dive deeper into them. We'll still do a couple day zeros, which are obviously one day. It's actually 0 days. But so like the shooting and moving carbine, the shooting and moving pistol workshops, like those, just one subject where we'll go deeper into it. It just means that students who need that basic foundational class, that core class, will have to get it elsewhere. That's all. Damn, 5K. Did they bring any 74 mags, Scott? Like, I don't care about 47 mags. I think I probably own 6 rounds of 7.62 by 3.9. that kind of show up from time to time in a random coat pocket or whatever. So anyhow, that explains next year, the no dynamic carbine next year. Is he done teaching carbine classes? No, we're just going to do more specialized classes. So what else we got? Going back up my list here. Hold on. Jonathan Aldridge, Iron Forge Consulting. I doubt he's listening, but he may listen to this later. And if he does, I want everyone to know I am still pimping his one-day active threat medicine class. It is the 20-something of this month here in Bloomsburg. And it is a fucking top-notch medical class. His 2-day medical class is better than any 2-day medical class that I have heard of in the training industry. I don't know what the 1-day class, what it has and doesn't have, because I'll be able to tell you next month. But schedules and whatnot, that's what we could squeeze in for this up here. And I believe because he's in paramedic school, his schedule is so full that he's only teaching 2 travel classes this year. And this is one of them. May 27th, Crystal says. Really, Adam, the ammo is crazy. The last ammo I bought was cheaper than 5.56. But yeah, so Crystal's got it May 27th. It is still happening up here. He still has, I want to say 1 slot, but I bet you if you wanted to register 2 people and he only has 1 slot, that he could scram another dude in. But if you use the coupon code TREMIS, TREMIS, when you sign up, you will get $25 off. I can actually, where's Control C, Control V, let's see if that works. Pow! It did. I'm fucking getting this hang of this thing. What I really need is to hire somebody to do, like, whoever that dude is behind the scenes in the Joe Rogan podcast that he's always talking to. I don't know what his name is. I don't even know if it's him, but like there's somebody else pushing buttons. I need that person to like sit right there. Probably be a lot easier for me to talk to like someone if there was someone in the room. Oh, look, Crystal had the link too. We were like, kapow, kapow. But that was on my list. And then the next thing on my list is relevant to someone who is in here in the live chat tonight, or at least he was earlier. So Matt Wyke of Wyke Fitness will be presenting at the muster. So what's he going to talk about? Fuck if I know, but I'll bet you it has something to do with fitness, nutrition, like shit I don't really know about. And if you guys are like, hey, who the hell is that dude? There is a list of articles that he has written that are probably relevant to the people watching this live chat. He has written a lot more articles than that. That is what I would call the smaller section of his article repertoire, but it's good stuff. And I have convinced him to drive up here for the muster and talk to us about, well, whatever subject he feels like he'd like to talk about. It really makes no difference to me because he's a smart dude, and whatever it is, I'm behind it. Bunch of dick jokes. Dude, you are in the right crowd for that. I decided that since Matt's going to come up and talk about fitness, I would alter my nutritional plan between now and then so that it would be one less thing that he could judge me on. So now I am drinking my 20 calorie drink instead of my 180 calorie drink. See what you've done, Matt? Scared straight. What do you guys want to know? There's a lot of everything I can think of. I don't think is safe to talk about on YouTube, Matt. Sorry. Well, Crystal has an idea. Matt says just slam a ghost. It is 8:40 in the evening. If I would like to go to sleep before 8:40 in the morning, now would probably not be a good time to slam another ghost. Although, did you guys see on the ghost Instagram today, May 10th, 12 p.m. Central Time, you can score a can of Bubblicious cotton candy flavored ghost for free. Just pay shipping. It is pre-release, but you can score a can if you have the app on your phone. That's what they're doing, is trying to get people to use the app. But you can get a can of the new flavor before it comes out. Score. I set an alarm. All right. So yes, Matt will be up here for the muster. I don't know if Bubblicious cotton candy could remotely come close to the sour green apple mega warhead flavor, but I bet you it's still pretty okay. I'll do this since we were just talking about the muster. There is the link. If you are an alumni, aka you are in the alumni group, and you go over to the alumni group, that is a Facebook group. There is a coupon code to cut the cost of the muster in half. Now, it's still only $50, but you can get it for $25 if you're an alumni. If you're a patron, so if you pay as little as $1 a month, you can get into the muster for free. So that would be $12 instead of $25 or $50. So there are ways to save some money. I'm not going to share the coupon code, obviously, in the open live chat, because people that aren't alumni can see it then too. I did mention once somewhere last year, like, hey, the muster's coming up. And Crystal was like, holy shit. And she signed up, and I was like, I think she's already on the list. So I look on the spreadsheet, and line 1, Crystal Fox. Line like 63, Crystal Fox. I was like, hey, you don't have to come twice, but and all. Oh, the Swedish fish is okay. I use that when I don't want something sour. That and the cherry limeade. But the red Sour Patch is great. The blue Sour Patch is great. The green apple Mega Warhead is awesome. Like, it tastes so good, I almost cried the first time I tasted it. Like, if there is a heaven, that's what they serve the drink there. Wait, what? When was that? Scott, I'm not sure what we were talking about. Again, the 30-second delay or so means that, like, when I see what you typed, it's way after I said it. It's May 10th, though, is if you're looking for the free can of cotton candy. It is on the Ghost Instagram page. That's where I saw it. All right. What time are we at? Holy shit, it's 8:42 already. I don't even think I was that late starting this time, was it? The new different range in Del Rio. I don't know what you'd like to know about it, Jason, but so this is the third different range in Del Rio we've used. Jim used to have his own like private bay in a more open club, like you could rent ranges and stuff. And then he moved to he leases some property where he has his own private range, where he still teaches like his LTC classes and stuff. So now he got this other range that's over, not close. It's closer to Jim's house. But it has a air-conditioned clubhouse. in it, a lit trap and skeet shooting range area, so you could like shoot into the dark there. No, we don't obviously going to use that. And then they just built this other range, so it is like 100 yards by 50 yards. And when we went, it just had a one berm at the end, and then the first 50 yards, all the little like scrub brush and shit that kind of grows in the dirt of Texas. When they pushed the berm up, they just used like the bucket and scraped all that brush and shit out, so it was like smooth, soft dirt. And by the time we get back for the next class, the whole 100 yards will be dirt with no brush or stones or shit on it, and soft. And the berm will be 2 or 3 sided, at least the down at the end. Not it's going to be like 100 yards of 3 sided, but there will be some more opportunity for shooting in multiple directions, which we didn't really need for any of the drills in the master class, but we do for dynamic pistol for day 3 mostly. But so it's like 100 by 50 and no rocks, and we can shoot all night long. So there will be things happening. We were going to do something the weekend after I was in Paducah, which like December 3rd, I'm going to Paducah. We were going to do like a night only class back in Del Rio, like just go down the weekend after. But I got something else brewing for the weekend after in Texas for me to do. It's not something I'm going to teach, something I'm going to participate in. And I'm going to invite that to some other fellas that I know and see if they'd like to do it as well. However, I'm not ready to make an announcement yet because I need to get some more details. But that new range is pretty badass. We can shoot all night long. And we just shot later into the night at the master class, but we did do like a solid 7 hours of day shooting before we took a break to come back in the dark. And it like nobody wants to do like fucking 16 hours straight. So we will do some stuff there that is night only, where we don't show up until the afternoon. So we're not just baking in the sun all day and then trying to stay awake and conscious and competent all night long. Rick, hello, sir. I have not talked to you in months and whatnot. I hope you are doing well. Jason, down at the range itself, there is no like built-in cover. We had a pretty large pop-up last time, and I think the next time we'll probably have 3 or 4 pop-ups set up. But if it gets hot, we have an air-conditioned classroom, so clubhouse or whatever. All right, so before we run out of too much time, there were questions, and I got 2 of them. The mag pouches. So one of the questions from Brad down at Virginia Training Group was Dubers. That was it. It just said Dubers ? I don't even know if Brad is watching. I haven't seen him. But there is a link for where to get the Dubers. Brad, if you are watching, and here is a link with a video about the Dubers. They have evolved over time. Like I have an old one here on this Blue Force gear sling. What is it? SHOT Show 2016 commemorative. So the Duber was like, we had a 3D printed blue hanger and then the stretchy hook to stow your sling. And now we're using a piece of Velcro one wrap with lasered holes in it to tie the paracord to. So it's easier to take on and off because you don't have to unwind the whole sling from it. And it fits a multitude of width of slings. So big padded one, regular one, skinny economy one. It fits all of them. And it's easier to laser holes in a piece of one wrap than to 3D print a specific hanger in 3 different sizes. So I don't know what else Brad wanted to know about Dubers. Like they're in stock it's the Navy edition, M81. Like the camo I wore when I was in the Navy. And then there's also AR2 and AR01, which is what the Navy's wearing now. Those are in stock. None of the other colors are. But so, Brad, hope that answers your Duber question. Man, I just spam my own chat. Looks like there's like 4 fucking chats in a row just from me. Next question. TJ sent this one and said, "What do you like the bad lever? Question mark. How about its competitors? Question mark. I love the bad lever. For one purpose. And strangely enough, it's not the purpose that they advertise. The purpose that they advertise, that they talked about back when Magpul Dynamics videos were popular and whatnot, was you could put a magazine in and hit that button and the bolt would go home before you were even back on target. And while that's probably true, not super concerned about it. And I've talked at length in class and probably at different times about reloads with a rifle and whatnot. But to get into the part where I like about it, if you have a malfunction in an AR, and everybody at some point will have malfunction in an AR, the corrective action almost always is going to start with lock the bolt to the rear, take the magazine out, and put your fingers up in there like it's prom night. Dark, light, you don't have to look. Like, start with that. Like, that's the first thing. And it will correct most of the things. And if it doesn't, it's the first step into the next few things. Well, if you have to take your firing hand off of the gun to run the charging handle so that the other one can lock the bolt to the rear, it's a little slower. And people be like, oh, the time. And it's not really the time. It's if your gun doesn't work, you should probably put your feet in motion. And if you've ever tried to hold the gun like against your hip, pull the charging handle back and hit the button with your other hand while you were running, you probably looked like a fucking retard. So the bad lever allows you to still be, like in running mode and reach over and grab that charging handle, pull it to the rear and lock the bolt back with your right hand. Man, that's great. Then you can dump the magazine out and finger up in there, figure out what you got to do, maybe run it a couple times, whatever. The downside to the bad lever is I see a lot of folks, and I have seen it very up close and personal, ND their rifle by dropping the bolt with it, because they just throw that finger up there to hit that button, bam, and it somehow finds its way right inside the trigger guard, where the button started. And that's the bad rap that it gets. However, the locking of the bolt to the rear with the right hand, man, that's awesome. Before Magpul came out, before they released their bad lever, I had a Phase 5, the bolt on Phase 5. They make one, it's like a one piece. You take the whole bolt release out, put a new one in, bolt catch, I guess it is. Sorry. I didn't have that one. I bought the bolt on. It worked fine, but it bolted on. It looked very ghetto, like 3 different screws just kind of clamping around that. And like the clamp kind of bent as you tightened the screws down, so it would go around the button, the paddle. The Magpul version with the one screw and the recess for the paddle is much more elegant. However, the LMT lower fucking blows them all right out of the water. Like, so much that I bought an LMT lower, one of the more expensive lowers that there are to buy, and basically have recreated my number one SBR again, like made another tax stamp and put exactly all the same parts on it, just so that I could have the gun I like on an LMT lower. I was going to just strip everything off the SBR I'm running most of the time, but then I'd have that lower that's SBR. So I was like, I might as well just buy another Ballistic Advantage barrel and Midwest rail and another Gemtech can, another Gemtech bolt carrier. and just build a second one, just so I could get the built-in lever. Monsieur Becquet says, I am his hero, when in reality, he is my hero. Bulletin. Hello, sir. You're in the wrong account again, but like everybody knows it's you, so you probably don't have to change. Oh yeah, the LMT, it's the Mars L lower. I think the Mars H is their 308 version, and I think they have a regular forged lower that doesn't have all the ambi shit in it. I actually have one right here, but I don't know if the fucking lighting. This is a sim gun. It is not real. See the blue, so YouTube doesn't have to shit can me. I don't know if you can see well enough. The lever right up here. I can't run the bolt because it's got a Mantis Blackbeard in it, so I can't do any locking or dropping with it. But that is the lever. You can lock and drop on both sides. It's pretty cool. I have that here for one of the other questions. Bad lever did not work with the Strike Industries quadruple size anodized red paddle. I'm not going to call that the fault of the bad lever. I had a Strike Industries 4-prong flash hider, and it had like little fucking points on the end. So I did grind those off. I know you're all shocked. I took a 4-inch grinder to a gun. Had a 308 version and a 5.56 version. They were fine. I installed another one of those on my buddy Bryant's gun, and he's shooting in a drill in class, and that thing literally broke into two, and we found one of the halves like 3 months later on the range. We don't know where the other one was. And we don't even know why. Like in the middle of a string of fire, it broke. So then I was like, oh, I don't know if I like this Strike Industry. They do like 3 and 4-prong flash hiders. So I bought a Surefire 3-prong for my 16-inch 5.56 gun, and then the Knights Armament 3-prong for my 308, and that was like unobtainable. The flash hider I got, they only make for the M240 thread pitch, which is the same as what's on an SR25, not for the more common 308 thread pitch, and I can't remember which one's which off the top of my head. But I know a fella at Knights, engineer type, and he managed to make it happen for me. TJ can't get ambi lowers in Connecticut. Adam has a Seekins lower with all the ambi shit that he doesn't even use. All right, so then I think that covers my thoughts on the bad lever. And then the other one that I got, and this one's actually pretty good question because it's not something you see all the time. What is my preferred method of handing someone a gun? So I had that blue simulated replica here of a rifle, and the question was for both pistol and rifle. And when it's a rifle and I hand it to someone, so typically like my hands would be here, and I want to hand you this rifle, I keep this hand where it was, and I just hold it out, allowing you to put your hand on the rail and then do whatever you need to do with it. So the gun's pointed up, it's in a safe direction, and that's my preferred way to hand a rifle. Like most rails are big enough to hold, to my hand and your hand on it while we hand them off. AAC makes some awesome flash hiders. They look like this, like big tubular, have a end cap, and there's baffles in the middle. Hide flash, great. But other companies make those too. But then, so the second part of my question, the question was how favorite way of handing a pistol to someone. So that's a little trickier because there's usually only like room for one hand on it. This too is a simulated fake gun shaped object. It is not a pistol, cannot fire anything. There's a little lens in the front with a laser. because lasers are cool. It's a CERT pistol. So if I skin this thing out with my right hand and I want to hand it to somebody, what I will do is I'll put it in my left hand. I'm going to raise it up in front of my face so you can see it. I would normally just do it kind of in front of me, with probably with the muzzle pointed down. But I will. Let's see if I can do it. So I got the gun out. I'm going to take this hand and I'm going to move my finger out of the way and hold it like so. So my hand is covering the trigger guard. There's enough space for all the fingers on the grip because mine were there when I grabbed it. And then I'm going to hand it to someone with the muzzle still pointed at the ground. So when they put their hand on it, there is room for all these fingers. And this one can't go in the trigger guard because my hand is covering it. And I usually say something like, it's hot or whatever, so that they understand whatever fucking world you come from where guns might not be loaded and you'll treat it stupid, that this one is loaded. Even if it's unloaded, I'm going to tell them it's hot. So that then when I take my hand off, they can keep their finger straight. And then they can go do whatever it is they want to do. That's my method for handling a pistol. And I hope that made sense. But the reasoning behind it was blocking the trigger guard when I hand it to them, and making sure there's enough room for them to put their hand on the grip as intended. Because unlike a rifle, there's not like 5 places that you can put a whole hand on. I've never taught that in a class. I've instructed people to do it that way, kind of in an informal setting, because it's not really a subject I think that like fits in any of my classes anywhere. But it's a solid question that I don't know if I've ever heard somebody mention it in a class I took as a student either. So I've taken over 10,000, right? Or I mean, over 1,000 hours. What was 10,000? Jesus. I can't even remember what my number was. I know Mike was on here. He might remember when I told him we were looking at like updating training resumes at one point. So, but fact is, a lot of hours of class as a student and hundreds and hundreds of days teaching as an instructor. And I don't think handing a gun to somebody else was ever a block of instruction that I've ever really seen. So TJ, that was a fucking great question, by the way. I know some guys are like, that's too low speed. Like, I'd rather know, if I'm panning a center fed door and the door is closed, but not closed all the way, so there is a gap. How does that change my, okay. Yes, that is a topic as well. But a lot more people hand someone else a gun than they do CQB on a door that's cracked open a little bit. So I think it's just fantastic question. I should make a video. If I made videos still, I should do that. I did film a video right before I went to Indiana, reviewing the Gray Ghost Gear medical backpack and what I have in it. And it's still on a memory card in the camera I'm filming with today. I haven't even taken it downstairs and put it in my computer. And I bought more shit for it because I found a great deal on some water jet burn dressings. And I had no burn dressings in the med bag. I had some burn gel, also from water gel. Whatever the fuck the name of the company is makes the burn gel. Small ones for like when people like get small burns from touching their fucking can or a hot barrel or something. Nothing big like I've been injured by somebody attempting to burn me. But I got some of those at a steal of a price, so I got to put those in the bag yet too. AAC 3-prong comparable to the Surefire 4-prong. I don't know, but most of the time, all the 3 and 4-prong flash hiders have excellent flash hiding properties. Obviously, like the material they're made out of will determine the robustness, as well as the design will determine the robustness. Some of the brands, Knight's Armament, have way less ting after each shot because they change the size of each one of the prongs is a different size, so they don't reverberate like a tuning fork. And of course, when they did that, they also patented it. And their patent, very cleverly, instead of saying, um, they made it and could have applied for a patent in a number of ways. Like, which feature is it we're patenting? They patented the fact that each of the prongs has a different weight, which means you can shape them different so that they won't reverberate, but each one of your prongs has to weigh the same as the other prongs, which really limits how different you can shape them. So they patented well, so that other companies like Dead Air makes one where they have a flat spot, but they move the flat spot to different spots so that all the prongs weigh the same, but it still has a ting. It just has a lot less ting. Because Knights wrote their patent application very well. And theirs so far is the best performer for if that thing bothers you. It doesn't really bother me. I was good with, like, I have a Surefire on my 5.56 gun, and it rings like a motherfucker, like just as much as a Vortex, because the gun's already going, wow. So the fact that afterwards it goes, like, it doesn't bother me that much. I got the Knights one just because it was like uber cool to have something unobtainable. Yes, the ones in the tan packaging are the same ones they sell to the military. There are ones in white packaging that you can buy around. The tan ones I've seen are a larger size, like they cover more square inchage footage. And the package is tan, and that's what I got too. You just have to know where to get them because the general commercial ones are the smaller ones in the white packaging. I assume the AAC had a good ting. It doesn't really bother me, and I know nobody will notice it in class. If you're under a ceiling, like, at a bench where there's like an awning over it, it'll sound louder because it just reverberates all the noise back at you. And in a class when there's 15 fucking rifles going off at a pop, and your mind is completely focused on something else, like all the shit you've been told to just do and not fuck it up in front of everyone, that ting becomes a thing of the past. And Tim, you are right. TJ does have the best questions. And this time, like normally when he asks a question, he lists the question and then gives like a sentence or two afterwards about why he's asking the question. And sometimes I read those, and I got the impression that he didn't care if I read that part of the question. So this time I chose not to and just stuck with the meat and the potatoes. All right. So what do we got? 9:07. We've been in here for a little more than an hour. Actually, it says 58 minutes, 59 minutes right now. So I obviously was a little late getting started. So I'll give you one more minute before we pop smoke and get out of here. What smoke are we popping? We're popping Patriot smoke because Shoppa fucking sucks, can suck a dick. If you don't understand the reference there, watch the beginning of the live chat after this is over. And there's a little more details about my recent Shopify, my Shoppa fucking sucks adventures over the last 24 hours, and why soon you will see a completely redesigned website when I move away from Shopify. So that's happening. Gonna definitely happen. Read my list here. Questions. I got all the questions answered there. all the things. Oh, just a reminder, we're sometime this month, we're going to fire up another giveaway. The Q2 giveaway will be a First Wave Holsters instructor holster, which is outside the waistband with the Tegris loops, in Rhodesian brushstroke for a pistol of your choice. As long as that pistol is in the family of the 365 M&P Glock 19, Glock 48 size. Otherwise, no. But it's going to be one of them ones where like you get 1 point for visiting the Instagram page and 1 point for visiting the whatever page and the Twitter and the Getter and Mew and whatever other fucking things. Yes, the bigger the I think 8x18 is what the ones I just picked up were too. And I think probably make a bunch of different sizes. What else is going on before I punch this out of here? Oh, as long as we're talking about First Wave, they are on the Instagrams and the Facebooks now. And guess who has 2 thumbs and runs those web pages? This guy. Because the other cats who do the bulk of the work don't social media fucking anything. So that became my new task. But you could go like those things if you want. I am putting some pictures up and shit on them for you or for me or for somebody. Yeah, that's what I got. All that is covered, everything on my list. So I will see you all next Wednesday. I think 2 days next week, I'm laying some floor in my living room, some laminate. So I will try to get it done in time to head over to the studio and be ready for a live chat. But next Wednesday, I'll give you all a rundown on how awesome the final dynamic carbine of 2023 was. And we'll find some shit to talk about. Maybe we'll update some Shoppa fucking sucks adventure. All right, you guys take it easy, and I will see some of you this weekend. And the rest of you, I will see on Wednesday.